Shabbat Shalom. I'm about to discuss part 3. My errors in the last vid, marriage, and now the color of Christ. Many of these Christian churches, I was in a Christian church. We were led to believe that Christ was white. I'm saying was in the past tense because I was there. But according to the scripture, he is not, like Malcolm X would say, a pale face. He is not a Caucasian. That's all lies. So we can start it right here. Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 11, starting at verse 4. Let's get right into this thing. Alright. For if he that cometh preacheth another Jesus, whom he have not preached, or if ye receive another spirit, which ye have not received, or another gospel, which ye have not accepted, ye might well bear with him. So you might as well bear all that crap that spirit bear, that fake Christ bear. So let's break this thing down. It might look like a big clump. So let's break it down in small pieces. For if he that cometh preacheth another Jesus, that white Jesus that they go to on Sundays, on the morrow, that's who they serve. That's another Jesus. That's not the Jesus according to the scripture. Whom he have not preached. That's not the Jesus preached in the scripture. Or if ye receive another spirit, that's another spirit, which ye have not received. You wasn't supposed to receive that spirit. Or another gospel, which ye have not accepted. You wasn't supposed to accept that. Ye might well bear with him. You're going to bear all the troubles that image and everything that carries. You might as well bear with it. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to Revelations. I'm going to show you this. And then we're going to get into his name. And I want y'all to Google this stuff. Don't just, take my word for it. Because I'm learning just like you. But, the Most High has pushed me, like, so far to start telling y'all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't got numerous amounts of degrees in the Bible. I'm just a hood fella who went to college that the Lord showed some things in the midst of him rapping. Straight up. That's all I am. I'm no different from you, but the thing is, I'm not about that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? If he telling us to do this, I'm trying to get right. You know what I'm saying? So let's go to Revelations 13, starting at verse 14. And this verse 14, Salakia. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those. We can start at 11. Because it's not good to start any sentence with and. Let's start at 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had 2 horns like a lamb. And he spake as a dragon. Verse 12. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast. So they describing a beast here, whose deadly wound was healed. Verse 13. And he goeth, Salakia, and he doeth great wonders, so that he make fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Verse 14. And deceiving them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image to be the Salakia. Let's go back to verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Let's go into something today. Let's go to 16. And he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, receiving mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. You know what that mark is? That's that chip. Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. What is his name? 18, here is the wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. That's 666. It's the devil. The devil is Caesar Borgia. You know what I'm saying? The devil is the ultimate deceiver. And you have been deceived by Caesar Borgia. You know what I'm saying? You have been deceived by the Roman Catholic Church. The Roman Catholic Church is the one that started Sunday worship. The Roman Catholic Church, according to Leonardo da Vinci, you know them Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle names? All of them were painters and responsible for the whitewashing of the black images of Christ. Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, all those are white painters who painted over the black images of Christ. Let's go. I got a little bit of something about Caesar Borgia and the 48 Laws of Power. Can you believe that? You know, this is a good book, but it's a lot of deception in here. You know what I'm saying? It teaches you a lot about how to, you know, reverse psychology in a way when it comes to on the job and even dealing with your friends. But a lot of this stuff, I feel like if you got to really use this, you shouldn't be around them people. You know, but you can't. One thing I can say, you have no choice about how you get your money in reference towards your workplace. So it's some things you got to put up with, and it teaches you a lot about that in here. But anyway, we go into the laws, 48 Laws of Power. We're gonna start in law 1. This is in law 1. Never outshine the master. Okay, and this is in the section of keys to power. I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like the 5th paragraph. Okay, and it says, in the year the 1500, Cesare Borgia laid siege to Faenza, Salakia. When the city surrendered, the citizens expected Salakia the worst from the cruel Borgia. They saying this man is cruel, but y'all worshiping this white image of him every Sunday. Let me go back. When the city surrendered, the citizens expected the worst from cruel Borgia, who, however, decided to spare the town. He simply occupied. Don't get emotional now, just because he spared. They say he spared the town, but this thing goes on. He simply occupied its fortress, executed none of its citizens, and allowed Prince Manfredi, 18 at the time, to remain with his court in complete freedom. Get this. A few weeks later, though, soldiers hauled Astor Manfredi away to a Roman prison. A year after that, his body was fished out of the river Tiber, a stone tied around his neck. Okay, Borgia justified the horrible deed with some sort of trumped up charge of treason and conspiracy. But the real problem that he was notoriously vain and insecure. So this image, they just said 3 things. He was cruel. Also, they saying he was notoriously vain and insecure like a little woman. Let's keep it going. The young man was outshining him without even trying. Given Manfredi's natural talents, the prince mere present made Borgia seem less attractive and charismatic, and I dealt with that in rap. Y'all know who. The lesson is simple. If you cannot help being charming and superior, you must learn to avoid such monsters of vanity. So this is what they describe in this man. He was a monster of vanity. Either that or find a way to commute your good qualities. Salakia. My apologies. Either that or find a way to mute your good qualities when in the company of a Cesare Borgia. This is the white Christ y'all worship. They said in 2 paragraphs he was cruel, he was notoriously vain and insecure, and as well a monster of vanity. This ain't the Messiah. This is so far from the Bible and what Christ really is. So we know he ain't no Caucasian, and we got to get into that. Let's go back to the Bible. So this man was a murderer. He was a homosexual. He slept with Leonardo da Vinci. And you can look that up in the Wikipedia. Just Google Caesar Borgia for yourself and you can find that. He killed his own brother for power in 1497. He slept with his brother's wife, Geoffrey. Him and Giovanni did. You know, so this man was an adulterer. So this is against the commandments of God. So how is you worshiping this white image? This what comes with this white image. Let's go. So every time you giving power to this white image, it goes to say this is like hand in hand almost. This one selection right here is hand in hand with the scripts that we read in 2 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 4. And we gonna get it again. For if he that cometh preacheth another Jesus, Cesare Borgia, the right Christ, whom he have not preached, or if ye receive another spirit which ye have not received, or another gospel which ye have not accepted. So anything that's teaching about a white Christ and you got white images in that church, that's another gospel. That has nothing to do with the Bible. So they lying to you. You better run and pray. It says ye might well bear with him. You might well bear his murder, his adultery. What else it said that he was? You bearing all this with him. His cruelty, his notoriously vain and insecure ways, and his monster character of vanity. It said in right here, you might as well bear with him. That's what you giving praise to. Any church that has a white Christ, this is what you paying tribute to. I mean, it's not your fault because you didn't know. But now you ain't got no excuse. I mean, these little phones that we have are like Inspector Gadgets in our hands. We can find anything we want in a matter of a second. Not minutes, but seconds. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to pull you out the hood, man, and not necessarily pull you out the hood, but pull you out of mentality of doing ignorant and dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Let's break this shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's teach our kids the right way. Our parents didn't know. Our parents before them didn't know. But we can stop it. We can be kings. Stop saying you a king and you steady bringing down your own fucking people. You ain't doing nothing. What are you doing to say you a king? What, clowning your own boys? Got them niggas jumping niggas or something? You ain't no king. You's a bitch. Straight up. And forgive me for saying this word, but in all actuality, that's what you are. And you know difference from Cesare Borgia. You are Cesare Borgia. So let's stop the madness, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a street angel. I found all this stuff and that's what we bearing from coming from that Sunday church. You see it in our communities. You see a wide range of homosexuality. You see brothers who ready to murder on sight. And what this thing say? Every hood is barren because of this image. Vain and insecure. So you hating because this brother getting ahead. You hating on him. And this brother ain't did nothing to you. He don't even know you, but you hating on him. That's what that image carries. It said notoriously vain and insecure. And monsters of vanity. You monsters, his brothers is monsters of sin in the streets. All because of this white Messiah. And it has a lot to do with our ways. Us being, you know what I'm saying, not even seeking the Father in truth. Brothers don't even pray. You know what I'm saying? How many brothers that's kings in their neighborhood teaching that the brothers in which they give orders to how to pray or how to go to God? Niggas ain't doing that. They gonna show you how to move that pack. That's what they gonna show you. Niggas ain't no kings, man. Evaluate the people you hang around. Evaluate yourself. Evaluate what's being taught and told to you. I just told my mom, you know what I'm saying, and it's funny how the Lord moved, because I ain't heard from my mom since November, but I'm showing her, like I just told her, it's 3 ways a person eat, man and woman. You know, one by the mouth, you know, by which we eat, by which we consume, by which we take in and digest for our system. Secondly is by what we hear, by what we listen to. I was just telling her, like, the music you listen to. I was telling my best friend, the music you listen to. You know, we can listen. Like me, I'm a big fan of 50 Cent. But I know a certain shit he be saying, I gotta leave on the shelf. Because if I was to fall to everything he's saying, I'd be in jail. Like, straight up. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. So, it's certain things you gotta know, man. And gotta cut out. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, it's by what we hear. So even if you listen to rap and music like that, you gotta find a balance. You listen to the gangster rap for a time, and you go back to the old school R&B. So that way you got rowdiness and you got smoothness. It's a level. You see what I'm saying? You gotta find the level, or just stop listening to it together. If that stuff is gonna control your mind and how you act, don't even pay attention to it. But I'm wavering. Let me get to it. And thirdly is by what we see, by what we watch. You know, the images on TV are subconsciously playing tribute to our mind. You know what I'm saying? We are being fed by what we watch. We are being fed by what we listen to. We are being fed by what we consume for our bodies. You know what I'm saying? So get away from worshiping that fake white Christ. Because I just told you, you know what I'm saying, in 2 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 4, and we read in Revelations chapter 13, you know, 11 through 17, that he is the mark of the beast. That's what you worshiping. You know, I didn't know at the time, but now you know if you watching this video. And if somebody told you, you know, you still doing that, oh shoot, that blood is on your hand. And you praying to God, wondering why stuff ain't happening for you, or like, I just can't get by. Cause nigga, you ain't listening. Like, straight up. Like man. I'm gonna do a lesson to where I can just, you know what I'm saying, just talk to the street. And then eventually y'all gonna see me out there on y'all corners, in y'all hoods, in y'all streets. That's the goal. It's not to sit up here and just make videos. You know, the Lord has pushed me to give y'all this information, so I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do. And what y'all do after that, that's on your head. So let's go to Daniel, the Old Testament. For all you Christians out there watching, we going to the Old Testament. Then I'm gonna hit you with the New Testament. And you know why I'm going from the old to the new, to the new to the old? Let's get it in Isaiah 28 and 10. Get your Bibles out. Make sure they King James, them NIVs and all that. They taking words and stuff out. And we know what that say about taking words out the Bible and adding words in Revelations chapter 22. You will not have eternal life. Okay, Isaiah 28 and 10. For precept must be upon precept. Salakia. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line. So here a little, there a little. So here a little from a old, and here a little from a new. That's how they supposed to be teaching y'all. And if you ain't been taught the old and the new, run. Run, Forrest, run. Straight up. We're going to Daniel chapter 10, verse 5 and 6. Alright. And I'm hoping everybody having a good Sabbath out there, man. You know. Make your request known to the Lord. But first, give thanks, repent, then thy request in your prayer. Let's get it. Daniel chapter 10, verse 5. Then I lift up my eyes and looked, behold, a certain man clothed in linen. So the Christ has some clothes on, whose loins were girded with a fine gold of Uphaz. Verse 6. His body is like the beryl, green, like a certain type of green. His face was as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as a lamp of fire, and his arms and his feet like in the color to polished brass, and the voice of his words like the voice Salakia. I want to read that. I want to make sure you get all this. Then I lift up my eyes and look, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with a fine gold of Uphaz. Verse 6. His body also was like the beryl, his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like in the color to polished brass, and the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude. So let's go back. Okay, verse 5. Then I lift up my eyes. So he saw. Daniel saw something. And I looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen. So Christ was clothed, whose loins were girded with the fine gold of Uphaz. So he had many like to make fun of and say it's a championship belt. It's not. It's a girdle. It's something that keeps. It's like a belt, but it's not. It keeps. You know what I'm saying? Like your what you're wearing intact. It keeps it together. It keeps it up. You know what I'm saying? It keeps it not loose. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a belt in a way. And it says his body was like the beryl. So he was wearing something that was like greenish. And his face as the appearance of lightning. We already know why his face was his appearance of lightning due to his wisdom. Moses, the more time he spent with the Most High, you know what I'm saying, his face would shine. You remember he came down from the mount and tried to deal with thy brethren. He had to cover his face because it was so glowing. So this is the sun. That's increased times 7. So his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire. His eyes was lamps of fire because he drank wine. And we're going to get that in Genesis chapter 49. I think verse 12. Let me see. Yep. Verse 12. And it says, his eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. Alright, so we got that. And his arms and his feet like in the color of polished brass. So brass is the derivative color of brown, like me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not black. I'm brown, or a different darker shade of brown. These Romans, they came up with the name black, and they're not even white. They like a derivative color of pink, peach, or red. You ain't never seen nobody white. They ain't white. They pink. They peach. They're red. Like us. We're brown. Different shades of brown. Brass is a different term, or per se different, I want to say color of brown. You know what I'm saying? So like bronze. That's all up under the same family. Brass, bronze, brown. I like that. So it says they talk about his arms, not just his feet in the old one. So they said, and his arms and his feet like in the color of polished brass. That don't sound like a white Jesus to me. And the voice of his words was like the voice of a multitude, because he spoke with great strength. Christ was not a soft man by no reason, no form, no shape, no nothing. Christ didn't play. When he had that word on his heart, with the Father put into him, he spoke, and he spoke boldly. He wasn't speaking soft like some of these preachers and pastors. Well, you have to do it this way, and you have to. Nah, Nah. Christ is a warrior of God. And you know no warrior come off soft. So they mislead you. Let's go to Revelations chapter 1. See what John saw. In verses 13 through 15. Okay. We start at verse 1. Revelations chapter 1 verse 1. The revelations of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him, to show his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. It's deep, ain't it? Let's read that again. The revelations of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him, to show his servants things which must surely come to pass. And this how they, even when you look at all the names of this book, this how this book was composed. You know, they was revealed from God. You know what I'm saying? It said right here. You know, so when they say man wrote the book and all this and that, yep, they did. But let's get it right here. The revelations of Jesus Christ, was God gave unto him, to show unto his servants, to all those that serve to him. So God gave the knowledge to John and many others who are in this book. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep it going. Things must surely come to pass, and he sit and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. So let's go to verse 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girded about the paps with a golden girdle. You remember? We talked about that in Daniel 10, verses 5 and 6. He had that golden girdle. You know, it's a golden belt. You know, that keeps the garment tight and intact. Excuse me. I was trying to get it earlier, but now I got it. You know, it keeps the garment intact. It keeps it from, you know, flying and loose. It keeps it fitted, you know. Okay, verse 14. Now they talking about his head. Let's get it. His head and his hairs were white like wool, and as white as snow. And his eyes were as a flame of fire. Slack it. Let's get that again. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow. And his eyes were as a flame of fire. Verse 15. And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burnt in a furnace. And his voice as the sound of many waters. Wow. Let's go back. Let me break this down. You know I broke the first verse down, so let's get the rest of them. Okay, verse 13. In the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man. So 7 candlesticks and one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with the girding down to the foot. So he had a garment that was all the way down to his feet, and girded about the paps with a golden girdle. So he had something around his waist that was gold, and it kept his garment fitted. His head. Okay, now we talking about his head. His hairs. The hair on his head were white like wool. So his hairs on his head was white like wool. And we see that with a lot of aged men, or those who carry wisdom, like me. I got, you know, certain spots and specks. Even in my beard, I got a little bit of white in it. I got a little bit of white on top of my head. I was born with it. You know, a lot of it comes from wisdom, and as well as of old age. You know, especially when you see within the Negroes. You know, we the only ones that carry woolly hair. And you see that amongst our elders, those who are of age or seniors within our communities or within our families. You know, they have white woolly hair. All right. And it says as white as snow. And his eyes were like a flame of fire. I just gave you that in Genesis chapter 49, verse 12. And I give it to you again. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. So that's where the red came from, in his eyes. You know, that flame of fire. Okay, verse 15. And his feet like unto fine brass. We know what brass is. I just explained that to you in Daniel 10, verses 5 and 6. Brass is a derivative color of brown or bronze. You know, like this. All of me, my body is brass. You know, it's a derivative color of brown. Or you take a penny and put it by my hand. It's the same color. Matter of fact, let's do that. You know, give y'all more of a visual until I'm out on the street, really teaching and giving you all that what you need to know. So you see a penny, as copper as it is, Slovakia. See this penny? It's almost the same. See? Maybe copper. But it's a derivative color of brown. You look up brass. Brass is going to look like this. You know? So let's keep it going. And he said his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. So if I take that penny and I put it in a furnace and let that mug heat up real hot, you know what I'm saying? Hot as the sun. It's not gonna stay. It's not gonna stay brass. It's not gonna stay that color. It's gonna get darker. So, you know what I'm saying? It's here right here. At his feet like unto fine brass. I just showed you. As if they burned into a furnace. So if you take anything, you put it in the furnace, what color is it going to turn? Black. Like he was literally black. I mean, Salaki, he is black. He never was white. He never had long and blonde or sandy brown hair with blue eyes. We never read this. I gave y'all from the old and now to the new. You know what I'm saying? So they lied. Bad. And when you go to church, you go into a place that's full of lies because they worship a white Jesus. And I want you to do yourself a favor. Ask your pastor when you go tomorrow, what color is Christ? Especially if they got the white Jesus in y'all church. Ask your pastor, what color is Christ? And if y'all got a white Jesus in there, ask him why is this in here? And was Jesus really born on December 25th? I guarantee you he ain't got no answer for you, or he gonna make up something. He don't got the answer, because if he was to really give you the answer, he know he'll lose money, because he ain't lied to y'all so long. And they don't know this Bible. I'm from the block and I know more than your pastor. And if you got a woman pastor, you know you way off. Ain't no woman supposed to be over the man. Never. And y'all brothers, stop being weak-hearted for the woman. Stop doing that. Don't get me wrong. I know times be hard. Be like, man, I see it. Because my dad has done it. Well, he is doing it. You know, his woman run his household. You know, I don't want to be like that. And you brothers, yo, at the end of the day, your woman don't respect that. She may not tell you, but in the back of her mind, you are viewed as weak. Of course, she ain't gonna tell you that. It's benefiting her. But sit down and evaluate. How is she talking to you? Everything you doing, is it just for her, or is it benefit y'all? How does God look at this thing within y'all couple? You know what I'm saying? Is you making the same decisions that Adam made? You know, because I'm gonna be straight up with y'all, man. I lost a lot of women by standing where Adam didn't stand. But at the end of the day, I know it's about to pay off. I know it's about to pay off. You know what I'm saying? And we just gotta endure. We gotta believe that God is bigger than our situation. No matter how this shit look, man. You gotta believe, bro. And so now y'all know. And Christ is from the tribe of Judah. I want you to know that. Let's go to Hebrews 7 and 14. So when you see the brothers on the corner teaching, they telling you from the tribe of Judah and that you're an Israelite, pay attention. Because I'm telling you, the day that this life is over, you're going to be judged. And God going to ask you, because I get dreams sometimes. That's why I try to make sure I'm doing everything he pushing me to do. He going to ask you, like, why did you deny my truth? What you going to tell him? You 9 times in 10, you going to be like, what? I never did deny your truth. I was going to church on Sunday and all this. You're like, no. Why did you deny my truth? And you gonna think. You ain't gonna want to know, but he know that you do know. And you probably may say, like, I don't know what you're talking about. Angel come through. And pop up that moment where you denied a brother teaching you about Israel, teaching you who you are, and you just denied them. You laughed at them. You mocked them. You pointed. You did something negative to deny you knowledge and yourself that understanding. You looked down. You despised it. And he gonna ask you again, why did you deny his truth? What you gonna say? Telling you, man, get right. That's all I got to say. I ain't perfect, but at the same time, I know what he won't done, and he does talk to you. You know, he ain't gonna come down from the throne and be like, hey. Nah, but he moved through you, and he moved through people, just like demons move through people. God moves through people. God is moving through the Israelites, me included, to get his message across to those who don't know, like you, that's in the Sunday church. So, you better watch who you're laughing and making fun of. Because the day that you're judged, you're going to have a lot to be looked at and judged upon. This thing is serious. We at the end of times. You see the Caesar Borgia spirit is everywhere in the hood. The homosexuality, the killings, the jealousness. And I didn't even know that was in the 48 Laws of Power until I really got to reading the 48 Laws of Power. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to conclude that today on the class. I want to say Shabbat Shalom. I'm just your neighborhood street angel, man. I ain't none of that. I'm just trying to stack that treasure for when he come and say his reward is with me. I want one of the biggest rewards. You know, when my ancestors and my brethren that has left this earth see me, they can see a spirit who has been blessed with great power. So let's conclude prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into no temptation, but deliver us from all that is evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. In Yeshua the Christ's holy blessed name, peace and blessings to all the camps. And most importantly, GOCC Detroit, Elder Ricard, and all the camps. You know, much love, many blessings. Shalom.